Okay, anything to discuss?
I read this article of Vietnamese young nun who was being gang raped in a train in a bus, and because of that, she's been kicked out of the order. Is that normal? So I just want to know what your view of that is.
Firstly, for a nun to be raped in India is quite common, especially like long ago, during the Buddha's time. But in the Vinaya books, we find even one Arahant nun called Upalavana, she was also raped. She used to stay alone in the forest kuti, and there was a young man who fell in love with her because she was very beautiful. So followed her to the kuti and hid under the bed. So when she came back after Pindabat and was alone, then he raped her. But we find in the Vinaya books that when this happens, then because the nun was forcefully raped, so she did not break any precept. So she does not have to disrobe. But in this case of this nun in Nepal, isn't it? Because she comes from a low caste. In India, Nepal, these countries, if you belong to a low caste, you sometimes the high caste people treat them like animals. So there is very strong discrimination, very unfair to them. So you see, like she's asked to disrobe, that's not proper, not according to the Buddha's teachings. You have to wait a while. Then
on page 353, paragraph number. Page 357, paragraph number 13. So the Arahant is giving a parable of Abraham two wives. One is son, 10 or 12 years old, and the other is expecting and nearly almost about to give birth.
Okay.
And then it said, supposing the second one will cut the belly, one of the boy or girl, and then that one will destroy the living embryo and the wealth. So I don't understand how that will destroy the wealth.
Not really destroy the wealth. Destroy the wealth for the son. Suppose now the son to be the embryo to be born is actually a boy. Then by doing what she did, then the boy being killed, he would not inherit the wealth, so he has destroyed his wealth. The wealth for this baby. Because by slitting her belly, she has killed herself, killed the embryo, and the wealth for the boy is also killed, is also destroyed. There's provided it's a boy. Okay.
Can we have to correct the classmates on the formal school? We'd like to discuss on one of the passages that is righteousness. How righteousness is related to dividing seeking light here and there. And because of craving, we tend to be very restless, wanting this, wanting that. For me, so we tend to seek sensual desire, for food, for go on. But when we try to practice more seriously, that's my observation, and I may be wrong, but I find that lay people and Indian nuns, they feel very restless. They tend to go from one ashram or one sarong to another, and I don't see them stay put in one place for very long. So is this a form of craving again?
When you say craving, normally we refer to craving for sensual pleasures, or the will to live, But in this case, it is plain restlessness, The fact that you cannot stay put in one place, is plain restlessness.
But what about like some of us like to experience? Like I was thinking of more of craving to be somewhere or not to be somewhere. For example, if I want to be in this monastery, after a while I get tired. I want to go to another monastery, experience new things and getting new experience. Is that would it help in our meditation?
Oh, it definitely does not help because a lot of people don't realize that our real teacher is the Buddha, and now that the Buddha is gone, the suttas, our real teacher, that was stated very clearly by the Buddha in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta when the Buddha said, take the Dhamma and the Vinaya as your teacher after I am gone. And the Dhamma refers to the suttas, as stated in Anguttara Nikaya 4.180. And Vinaya is only for monks and nuns. So for lay people, the real teacher is the suttas. So going here and there looking for a teacher is not the right thing to do, because the Buddha also said, be a lamb unto yourself, be a refuge unto yourself with no other refuge. That means no other person. Take the Dhamma as your lamb, take the Dhamma as your refuge with no other refuge. So we should depend on ourselves and on the Buddha's teachings. So all the instructions are in the suttas. We study the suttas enough, then we should strive on our own. And the problem is, instead of staying in one place and fighting with our defilements as we should do, some people, they run here, run there. That means you are just running away from your defilements. In fact, very often the cause of your running away is actually the defilements. The defilements itself is causing a person to run here and run there. But he doesn't see it. Because I always say we have a lawyer bureau inside here, a lawyer in our mind, always giving reasons for our actions. So you can see from the Buddha's disciples that during the Buddha's time, the monks, after they renounce, they have to follow a teacher for 5 years. And actually during these 5 years, they are not... The aim of following the teacher is to study the suttas and the Vinaya, to get a good grounding on the suttas and the Vinaya. Not so much on meditation, although they can meditate, but the foundation should be on suttas and Vinaya. After 5 years, then the Buddha encouraged these monks to go off and live alone. When they live alone, then they strive in meditation. Already with a good background, with a good foundation in the suttas and the Vinaya, then they go and strive. And when they go and strive, then they don't have to study the suttas and the Vinaya anymore, because they should be very familiar with it already. Then they do meditation 24 hours a day. But nowadays, a lot of people are not willing to put the effort to master the sutta and the Vinayas, and they put the cart before the horse, instead of studying getting the foundation first. They want to meditate, they want to do other things. There are a lot of other things a new monk has to do. If you have a good monastery, like some of the Thai forest monasteries, they stress a lot on, for example, duties in the monastery, to learn to serve the senior monks, to learn to do all the work that's necessary in the monastery. But nowadays you find a lot of lay people, they go to meditation centers where they do nothing but meditate. Then when they decide to become a monk, they expect once they wear the robe, they do nothing but meditate. They can either they go to the meditation center and stay there. Don't come to a place like a forest monastery. Forest monastery is more of a complete training, just like in the Buddha's time. During the Buddha's time, the monks had to build the kutis. It's not that the monks don't do anything. If they stay together in a monastery, they have to do all the work that is necessary to upkeep the monastery, to keep the monastery running. But if they really are serious and want to practice, then they go alone, go and stay alone. Don't mix with other people. So coming back to this, these monks running here and there, they run here and there. But then if they don't belong to a monastery, later when they are old, then they find they have no monastery to turn to. Monks, when we live together, there is camaraderie. There is a friendship that is built up after many years, so that we develop this friendship over the years, and then we have this inclination to look after each other. But we find, like in Malaysia, some Mahayana monks, they take disciples, but they don't train the disciples don't live with them. And then we can see very clearly some of these old Mahayana monks, when they are very old, none of the disciples look after them, because they have always been independent. And what happens? These old monks are looked after by lay people. The lay people, when the old monk cannot bathe for himself, cannot look after himself, the lay people bathe the old monk, look after him. But after some time, they also get tired of doing it. They don't want to do it all the time. Then they have to end up like an old folks home like that, or a nursing home. So a lot of people new in the Dhamma, they are not experienced. They don't know all these things.
We'd like to ask Andre and advise on how to overcome restlessness state. Because you know that they always stay put in a place.
The only way, just like the best way, just like some people ask how to overcome anger. The best way to overcome anger and restlessness is to work very hard to calm the mind. If you can develop tranquility, one-pointedness of mind, then the restlessness will go down. The anger also will go down. The lust also will go down. All these hindrances will go down. But it's not easy to able to attain one-pointedness of mind. Just now I forgot to mention, even like this Zen school, which is famous for meditation, in the China, the Chanzhong, the original Zen school before it moved to Japan and became Zen. They have a tradition when the first 5 years, when a person becomes a monk, he has to chop wood, he has to plant vegetables, and do all, and learn the suttas and the Vinaya. He's not allowed to meditate for 5 years in the original Chanzhong meditation school. After 5 years, then he meditates and does nothing else. So there is a training, a time of training, and a time of practice. A lot of people don't know. Just like some people, they learn Kung Fu. Straight away, they want to kick here and kick there, and want to learn all the moves. But I've met an old man, a layman who came from China, who was trained in the real Shaolin Kung Fu. And he told me for 1 year, when he went to learn Shaolin Kung Fu, he was not asked to do anything except Ma Po, the what do you call it? The horse stance. Just that. Of course, a lot of people, they think, what's the use of all this? So one day he was doing his horse stance. The master came from behind and kicked him just behind the knee, and then he went down. So told him, if your stand is not strong enough and you fall down, you cannot fight anymore. So you got to be able to stand all the time, whatever happens, whatever blows. So this basic foundation, you see, real Kung Fu, 1 year you do nothing except just the Ma Po or stand. Foundation is not there how to kick, how to do all the other moves. So in the same way, if you want to practice meditation and all that, without the proper foundation in the suttas, the knowledge of what the Buddha taught, the proper Noble Eightfold Path, how to practice, everything is in the suttas. But you don't, you want to go straight into meditation, then you never become an expert. Half-baked, neither here, neither there.
Yeah, I don't quite understand the parable of the dice on the nuts.
Where?
He says for the two members using nuts as dice.
364.
The parable of the two members using nuts as dice.
I think what it means is that if you hold on to this wrong view and you don't give it up, it's going to harm you. Just like this person, he wants to cheat all the time. He keeps cheating, and then when people get to know it, then he will die like this. You can cheat once in a blue moon. What did Abraham Lincoln say? You can what? You can fool some people some of the time, and you can. You can fool all the people some of the time, or some of the people all of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. So here, like this man, he wants to cheat all the time, then he will suffer for it. Once people know that he cheats, then this is the result. Put poison in that thing. So if you hold on to the wrong view without changing it.
The whole feeling that everything was alright. Until the last part is a twist, in the sense that he seems to learn the Eightfold Path in terms of the most basic charitable thing that he should do. I thought he learned the Eightfold Path, and Dharma was supposed to be the most basic. Yet he didn't learn it well, and in the end he did it gradually and ended up in an empty mention. So I thought the whole sutta, I felt was a very good sutta. Except the last part I couldn't understand.
No, this whole sutta is about changing his wrong view. Okay, so but that wrong view of his is worldly wrong view. It's not Aryan. When he changed his wrong view, he got worldly right view but it is not Aryan right view. So he's still a very worldly person. He's not somebody who is practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. Only a monk wants to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. People like this Arahant, because their mind is very clear, get totally rid of the hindrances, they think very sharp. You can think very sharp. You can answer give similes like this to the point. Similarly, you find the Buddha, when the Buddha gives parables, it's also like this, straight to the point. Not all, not all.
Is there a job that
No. Yakas are like mountain spirits. We have heard of fierce mountain spirits. There are some people, they climb the mountains, and the mountains seldom climb, and sometimes they get into serious problem. Sometimes they go to these kind of places, then they get lost, and then a few days later, people find them dead. There is a sutta called the Attanatiya Sutta. I think we haven't come to it, where the king of the Yakas came to teach the Buddha protection, a chant, and he said that many of these Yakas, they don't like the Buddha and they don't like the Buddha's disciples because their way of finding food is to kill. Just like these nagas, snake spirits, garudas, because they are low spirits. To find their food, they have to kill, to eat. Just like human beings, a lot of human beings, we hunt to get our food, kill. So this Attanatiya Sutta, the Yaka king, taught the Buddha chant to teach to other monks, so that when they go to lonely places and they meet these fierce yakas, if they do this chant, there are the names, you call out the names of many of these yaka chiefs, like tiger generals, warlords. So when these yakas hear, they get scared. Taiko, calling the name of the Taiko.
Charles Darwin, the old English scientist, famous for the evolution theory of which says that humans are descendants of apes and monkeys and stuff. Now, in Buddhism, animals are seen as a lower rebirth. It's said that the humans are descendants of animals. Well, some may say we are animals. What is the human realm?
Human realm is supposed to be higher than animals. But among humans also you find a great difference. Those in European countries and America you find because their blessings are higher, they have a better life. And those with lower blessings, like in African countries, then they suffer more. Or like today, you went to this mentally retarded children's home. You find these children, their level is like an animal. But generally, humans are supposed to be higher than animals.
And then to ask something on strong and so if we have jhanas, we are able to get rid of the diseases. It's like catch-22 situation that most of us suffer from strong and comfort. Especially on a cold morning, most of us will tend to be very drowsy and dozy off. So wondering how can we overcome strong and comfort?
The only way is a super will. Even you see like Mahamoggallana, when he was practicing, he also had sloth and torpor, and the Buddha had to come to him in the middle of the night to urge him on. And then because of his super will, he managed to strive in 7 days become an arahant. So that's all there's no way, no other way. Have to a lot of effort.
Yeah, but the Buddha gave a lot of advice, rubbing the limbs, pulling the ears. Basically, it keeps our body warm and more energy. But what's one thing advice? Say we sit down there and we know that our mind is going to dream state. So, should we break the sitting meditation and start walking? Because to me, I feel like if I continue that, then it becomes a habit.
Yes, you must not form a habit. No? So you have to be observant and use your own wisdom. There is no straight and fast rule. You notice in the suttas, the Buddha, when it comes to meditation, the Buddha gave some basic instructions on meditation, that's all. And that is enough. No need to say too much, because for each person is different. So you cannot say, because you use a certain method, it was good for you, that is applicable to everybody else. It is not. You have to find your own way.
But then I say sitting, the posture is very important. See, some of us say, our legs hurt already, so we can't sit upright like most people do. So we are very lucky here, we are going to pop up, sit time, and everyone will do. So but what we come to do is feel that we need to sit in a comfortable position rather than upright, if we are not comfortable.
What we have, we make do with. Right? You must realize, like nowadays, we have so many things. You have bangku, the stool for you to sit. Worst come to the worst, you can sit on a chair to meditate. But you imagine, during the Buddha's time, they didn't have all this. They sat under the tree in the forest, and they make do with all that. So, must not pamper ourselves too much. Come, let's end here.